Well, firstly, Matt, thank you for giving us some of your time to talk. We are going to look into the 14th of November, Shamrock FC. You're taking on Wes Powers. Now,
Right.
Shamrock FC is a promotion that like to put on good matchups. Jesse seems to have his head screwed on when he finds the right fighters who put on good performances. So I expect you're going to put on a performance for everyone at home. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, what can you tell us about Wesley Powers yourself? Do you look into your opponent? Do you research them, or is this something you just kind of go off and do your own thing, come into the game and come into the fight, and just do your kind of fighting style?
Well, I mean, I looked over him. I think every fighter does, but just briefly, just to see kind of what his specialties are and what I need to look out for, if anything. And other than that, it's just another fight. Training stays the same. You don't change much of anything. And as far as Wesley goes, don't know a whole much about him. He's got a couple more fights than I do. Shorter guy. He likes to play at range, which fits the right game plan because I'm a longer fighter. And this fight, I don't have to cut to my normal 170. This will be at 85. So I'll definitely have the speed advantage on him. And, from what I've seen, will have my footwork will play key in this fight as well. Other than that, like I said, just keep my conditioning up so I could go for all 3 rounds at a high pace and go from there.
I was going to say, yeah, it's good that you can have that kind of little bit of knowledge and insight before the fight. You said training's just as normal. Obviously, martial arts is an evolution. You're always looking to grow. You said before your footwork and your speed will be an advantage. If you feel that is an advantage anyway, that you have an asset, do you then look to bring everything up to a par level? Are you specialising maybe a bit more time in other areas?
Yeah, well, for me, I've made mistakes on, it's a mistake and sometimes it's not a mistake. I'm starting way too fast. I get out there, I'll throw a lot of punches, kicks, just keep my moving going at a real high pace, and I've never had an issue overwhelming somebody. But in the few cases where, I fought Drew Gigax, and the first round was just throttling him. I was just too fast, too much, too powerful, but then he weathered the storm, and, you tend to gas. So I learned my mistake and my lesson in that one. So right now, for the fights coming forward, just being able to stay calm while keeping a good pace, higher than our normal pace, but able to adjust during the fight instead of going full throttle and having that issue once again.
Yeah, it's being economic with your movement, which is key. It's not throwing 100 shots and full pelt with every shot and wasting, say, 95 of them.
I think it was Chael Sonnen that said, if you hurt someone and go for the finish but don't get the finish, he says you generally lose because you've blown your gasket and you can't get that fuel back. It's
exactly.
I think the best example.
So as long as I could keep my kicks and punches, like you said, not full power, but I could still throw a ridiculous amount of numbers. Just throw my feints, just stay loose with my punches, and if I see a big opening, maybe I'll unleash something on that one. But I'm not going to be looking to beat up his arms and elbows with heavy punches.
Yeah, I was going to say a great example of how to use a high number of shots, but while still using a bit of power now and then, would be the Diaz brothers.
I was going to say,
Nick is like the pinnacle of that. Mm-hmm. He will literally throw that 3 or 4 combination, and in that combination, one of them shots will be hard, but the rest are just, not pitter-patters. They're almost like a 60%, and it's beautiful how he can do it, and you can't.
Sick cardio as well, though.
It is sick cardio, but that's why his cardio is so great, because he's not, when he's throwing 6 punches, only one of them's going full tilt. The others are they're flowing. Right. He's using his hips to get the rest of them out.
Yep.
And I think, learning from that, do you watch video footage of fighters like that and try to, and not say emulate, but do you take note of that and try to learn and think, well, it works there, so is that something that you've maybe looked at?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Hell, even, people give bad rap on guys that learn stuff from YouTube, but there's some badass dudes on YouTube that show some crazy technique where a lot of guys look at it and go, oh, that was cool, and think that they can only do it. But I'll go out for, especially sparring, do some light sparring, I'll throw some weird shit out there. And you know what? Sometimes it works. you never know. You never know what's going to work. And we see nowadays that some of the crazy moves that you would never see throw are getting thrown a lot more often, and they land because they're so unorthodox.
They are, yeah. I think that's key, that people do start to realise that just because it looks crazy, you know, if you try it in sparring, like you said, it does help to try it in sparring to see what the reaction is of who you're sparring with, because you think, right, they look like a deer in the headlights when I threw that. The odds are, when I go and fight with someone, they will probably have that same reaction, because the unorthodox strikes, it's not something you drill for. You don't drill to fight, because you can't spar and train to every single thing. Yeah, because there's too much for your body to remember. There's too much muscle memory for your body to kind of sink in. So, like you say, sometimes unorthodox strikes, they do catch fighters out.
They can create openings, and you know, it's.
Oh yeah, definitely. It gets people real unnerved too, because my coach is telling me my biggest key is how I transition. I'll go from basic boxing to kickboxing, Muay Thai. I'll go from real unorthodox stance, move around, and that's really what I want to do for this next fight, is just kind of showcase my abilities, because he's more of a boxing 101, where, you know, I'm a little more out there with my kicks. I'm definitely going to be throwing heel kicks, different things like that, just to really keep him unnerved. You know, as a 101 guy, you know, I've gone into matches where I've just done sheer technique of basic stuff, and it worked on that match, but a lot of times you're not going to get that, where you got a guy throwing wild stuff at you with the technique, and you're not prepared for that. So this match, for sure, I just want to showcase my ability with my kicks and all my whole repertoire. Yeah,
it's not having a timing that they can read. That's starting to really play a big part in MMA.
It's altering that timing as well.
Well, that's what I'm
tempo,
saying. A lot of fighters have standard footwork, like say they're boxing 101. Well, boxing footwork is not easy to measure, but you can measure it. You can start to get timings. Like you say, if you can switch between different styles, or you can switch your stance, and it just really makes it harder for someone to read you, because if you just keep switching, they can't catch that timing up. They're always one step behind. It makes a huge difference. And
especially as the corners. You know, the corners are trying. They're watching you, and if they could come back into the corner and be like, "Guess what? This is what he's doing." And if you go back into the corner and they can't say shit about what I'm doing, they're like, "Well, he's thinking up too much. I don't know what the fuck's going on." Guess what? That plays into my gameplay, you know. So if his corners are confused, then he's definitely going to be confused.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, exactly. Because if they can't answer, they can't help him out. It's almost like he's
lost a weapon.
He's lost a weapon, which is what a corner is. You know, they can really make or break a fight if they can see an opening.
100%.
But that's what I think the game is evolving into, where fighters have to start realising that they can change their tempo, change their stance a little bit, change things around. It is a great asset to have.
Also, it's huge. It's like going off script. You know, it just changed things. I can remember back when the army boxing was on. You'd get guys that had fought many times, shall we say, and you know, had half decent amateur careers, and then you'd get the guy who's having his first or second fight as in army boxing. You'd have your inter-squadron boxing, and the guy in his first or second fight would sometimes get a win against a fairly well-experienced guy, because he was doing shit that you don't see. You know, he was learning the new
age stuff. You know, all the newer stuff he's learning, where when you've been doing it so long, a lot of times you get stuck in your ways. You got your Vanderlei Silvas and stuff like that, where they're stuck. That's their style. You know, I love a guy, but they don't evolve. And once you don't evolve, you're not learning, you're going to fall behind.
Yeah. That is key. Vanderlei's a good example. Yeah, he wants to brawl. He wants to stand and brawl. And you know, same with I think Diego Sanchez, in my opinion, falls into that ballpark as well. He's like, as soon as you start clipping Diego Sanchez, he straight away goes to biting the gum shield and standing there.
You can dictate how he fights just by catching him a few times. You know, he's then going to just
and once you've done that, you think, right, I know how to beat him. You know, I know I can get the timing. I can get the timing on him, and it's clear. And do you know what? You're right. The sport, you need to evolve. You need to accept that it's going to change, and you have to accept that you need to change yourself. You can't sit there and go, right, I'm just going to be a wrestler for all my career. Guess what? Someone's going to figure you out, and someone's going to give you an ass whooping, and then you're going to have to change, because if you don't, someone else will do it.
And just jab your head off.
And that's a key thing. So the fact that you're looking to be able, you're lucky enough to be able to do that. You can change your tempo and style. It's a great weapon that you've got there to go into this fight with. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, good.
Right.
Oh, sorry. We do freak out sometimes when it goes quiet, only because we don't have the connection.
He's going through a tunnel.
No. And so I think Wes Powers, not knowing that you're going to have this, not knowing that he's going to be able to kind of time you, I think straight away it gets in a handicap, because I think that fighters need to, really learn to get a fighter IQ higher. But when guys do that, it's impossible to read it. Dominic Cruz, TJ Dillashaw, they're starting to make that. I
was going to say,
very profound.
It seems fairly recent. I mean, it seems very obvious because there is like a tempo to a fight, and you're sort of like you'll do your thing, they do their thing, you'll do your thing, and the tempo is pretty much the same on both sides. But now you do get
I think.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
What is wrong with that is, I say this a lot, is in sparring, a lot of the times, 95% of the time, the guy you're sparring with, you know what he's doing, and you guys do get caught up in like, hey, a 1-2 kick, you get caught up in the basics. You're sparring, you're hitting each other, but you're not changing your timing as you would when you got your nerves running on fire for a fight, and people get stuck sparring in a fight. You see that a lot more lately than you used to. Nowadays, people in a real fight, it's going to be the 1-2, they're going to back off, or the 1-2 round kick.
Yeah.
They're not going to change it up to where they set the timing different to a 1-2 pause, do something else right away.
Yeah.
It's that back and forth stuff that I'm really not going to be using, especially for this fight. I'm going to be transitioning from an aggressive boxer to the outside kick boxer. My clinch is on point at all fights, and I'm just going to let him feel a little bit of everything and see which one suits me best. And I got great corners on my side that have been in the game for a long time. Adam Stella, Kelly Bird, and these guys know the game. So it's gonna be a good fight. I'm hoping for a real tough fight at least. And I'm just excited. My conditioning's on point, and everything's gone perfect for this one.
And we look forward to it as well. The 14th of November, you've got Shamrock FC. They always look to put on, good production, good fights.
Yeah.
Well
matched.
Jesse does he does good matchups. And we never say to fighters good luck. It's always have a great fight. We want you to put a good show on for the fans, and not just people in the crowd. The people tune in as well to watch the card, because you can tune in on Shamrock FC website. You can pay to watch it. But obviously, if people want to join you on your little MMA journey, so to speak, what's the social media sites that people can jump onto?
Really, as of right now, I run an Instagram and a Facebook. So my Facebook is just Matt Ray. Instagram, Matt.attack86. I'm still new into the social media, but I got a big following. I do also work at the UFC gym part-time, doing conditioning and coaching a little bit. So everyone's starting to get me on board with all the other social media outlets that I'm kind of blinded by. But, so that's about it.
No, you got to start somewhere. Start there. Start slow. Build it up. What about sponsors? Have you got any sponsors out there that are backing you up and helping you out?
Yeah, I got my main one. My main and only one, Wildwood Home Improvement. They've done everything for me to the point where I got to tell them to stop. As far as nutrition, you name it, they're always there, and it's crazy. It's awesome to have them, and especially I'm a nobody. I just fight just to fight. A lot of these guys. A lot of my fans, I sell tickets a good amount, and it's just from people that don't even like the sport until now, because I became friends with them, and they just want to follow me along. So it's without fans like that and people that have your back, it's a lackluster sport. You don't want to do it. Like, no one wants to go out there and fight. Every fighter I've ever talked to, top guys, bottom guys, when you're there getting your hands wrapped, you're always like, what the fuck am I doing here? This is stupid.
I could be watching this.
After it's all said and done, win or lose, after it's said and done, you're like, that was fun. I don't want to fucking do it again. Every time I'm coming out, like I told Jesse, I lost a couple fights back, and I said, hey, give me a fight right away. And he's like, okay, we'll figure it out. I won my last fight. I'm like, hey, get me on that November card. He's like, I got it. So I love fighting because I love the camaraderie. You get all the people together, and it's always an awesome night.
And obviously, you said about your fans. Do you want to thank any your coaches, your training partners, and friends and family that that help and support you in this?
Yeah, definitely. My whole family, of course, they're all out of state, and they got a lot of friends out of state. They know who they are. They buy the fight and watch it. Everyone at Penny's. I go to Jermaine Andre's when I can. My buddy Kelly Birch, he's out of the town a little bit, but we get together on our own, and you can't ask for. Once you have such a good connection, someone that's gonna not just be like, oh, class time is 5 o'clock. It's gonna be like, guess what? It's midnight. You need some work. Yeah, I missed out on 2 days. Come on in. That's what really counts, in my opinion.
That's great. Hey, look, Matt. It seems like you've got a lot of support. You've got a great mindset and attitude. We want to say have a great weekend. Have a great experience. The whole thing. From the start to the end. And look, people at home, jump on to Shamrock FC. If you're not in the local area to buy a ticket, jump online, watch the card. Experience watching new fighters, new faces. It's always nice to get experience on a different promotion. And look, thank you very much as well, Matt, for coming on and giving us some of your time to talk.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me, guys.